Coming up on this episode of the Hitstreak.
First needs to be God. Mm-hmm. Second needs to be who you're doing life with, and who chose you and who you chose to spend your life with. Next needs to be if you've created life with them. Mm-hmm. And then after that needs to be your business and all of that to support and be in line with those first few things.
Hi folks, Nick Hyder here, and I want to tell you about one membership and two lifelines. Smiles for Recovery has partnered with Dollars with the Heart to fuel a global endowment system, fighting hunger and restoring smiles through life-changing dental care. When you join, you're not just getting entertainment. You're unlocking a members-only platform where every dollar you spend helps feed families and restore smiles for people in recovery. Your one-time $65.99 membership gives you a unique member ID, access to private entertainment, and a guaranteed place in line for free dental services through Smiles for Recovery. Every time our community reaches 2.5 million members, 1,000 full dental care awards go to members outside of recovery. You can keep it or you can gift it. Plus, thanks to Struggle Jennings, you'll also receive a limited edition t-shirt, a brand new song, and long-term complimentary benefits, a lasting way to make a difference. Join at smilesforrecovery.info with code SMILES. You can meet the team at smilesforrecovery.org. Folks, let's feed families and restore smiles together. Dentists, when a member outside of recovery needs treatment, you can sponsor them. Once they are approved, Smiles for Recovery covers the full cost through this partnership. Membership supports endowments, not insurance. Dental awards subject to approval and availability.
Whoa. Check this out. Some of the world's biggest success stories started with nothing. Just grit, hustle, and a story worth hearing. So if you've clawed your way up, if you've built something out of nothing, if you've got a story that people need to hear, folks, this is your shot. The Hitstreak isn't just a podcast. It's a platform not just for top performers, it's also a platform that takes real stories from underdogs, builders, and dreamers, and it puts them on the map. Your story, your brand, your breakthrough. Apply now to be a guest. We'll put you in front of millions of viewers worldwide. You'll get pro-level content, high-level exposure, and a seat at the table with people who've been there and made it out. I'm not only looking for polished top performers. I'm looking for real stories from real people. If you've been through the fire and came out stronger, you belong on this show. Apply now. This is your moment. Email management@nickhyder.com or comment or DM the word Hitstreak to apply. The Hitstreak is where rags to riches stories have been told, and the next one could be yours. Blessings, folks. Welcome back to another episode of the Hitstreak. I'm your man, Nick Hyder. And folks, I've got an extra special treat joining me in the Hit Lab today. It feels like it's a little bit brighter today. The star power is just massive up in the Hit Lab today, folks. Check it out. Let me give this dude a proper introduction. We're going to get right into it. All right. He is a platinum-selling country artist and songwriter, folks. His platinum certified #1 hit, My Boy, hits all the feels, and we're going to hear all about it today, folks. Help me welcome Elvie Shane. Elvie, how we doing, baby?
I'm doing good, man. Got to go back to Kentucky last night and see my folks and spend some time with mom and dad. Get up this morning, give them a hug and kiss bye, and drive back down to Nashville. Be here with you guys.
You're batting 1,000, big dog.
Let's go, baby.
Elvie, like, you know, growing up in the music business, the son of a publisher, the art of the song was big in my house. And the storytelling part especially was what my family, my bloodline was drawn to, the feels. The feels. Not necessarily the hook or the melody, but the story. Tell me a little bit about My Boy, because it kind of like reminded me of the Brad Paisley song that Half the Daddy didn't have to be.
A lot of people made that connection early on. You were telling me a little bit before we came in here about when your dad was kind of at the top of the game there back in the day with the publishing and stuff before he went on to other ventures in life. And back then, I remember, I was a kid back then listening to country music radio, and there was a lot more story-driven stuff going on back then. with my boy in particular, it was just kind of just tell the truth as much as you can and make it rhyme. But also there was 4 of us that wrote that song. So it was, a collaboration of stories and experiences between the 4 of us buddies that wrote. We didn't even know we were writing a song that night. We were just hanging out on the porch.
That's the best kind.
Yeah, absolutely. And a friend of mine's mom had sent me a meme on Facebook the night before that said, it was a picture of a little boy and it said, I don't have a stepson. I have a son that was born before I met him. And so we were talking about that, and somebody, we tricked my buddy Lee Starr into grabbing a guitar and starting to play something, and grabbed a couple cold ones and just sit out there, and somebody said, he ain't got my smile. That don't bother me a bit. He's got somebody else's eyes. I'm seeing myself in. It was like, dang, I think we're writing a song now,
Wow.
So, and then, like I said, the rest of it was just mixing our experiences. My buddy Russell Sutton, I think he had been in a relationship with a girl that had a little boy for a little while. And I think the stick figure, crayon picture kind of thing came from that. And so even in the writing process, it was pretty universal experience.
Yeah.
We had no idea how universal it was going to be.
From a songwriter's perspective, we've had a lot of the greats here. I don't know if I've ever asked them, when you're writing a song that it kind of like that Colin Ray song "Love Me" from the 90s. It was just like one of the most coolest stories ever that took all 3 verses to get to the end of the story. As a songwriter, does it the feels that it gives everybody that hears it, how does that affect you guys in the writing process?
I mean, I always tell people, I'm not a very genre specific based writer or singer, performer, whatever you want to call me. So that word is all I chase, really. I just chase a feeling. If you listen to my first record, second record, you're going to hear a lot of diversity and influence. And I always just tell people, is like, if it makes me feel something when I'm writing it, when I sing it, then I feel like I can evoke that emotion out of someone performing it, so which I love, but also can be a monster to promote or put your finger on sometimes.
Yeah.
But no, man, I mean, I think that song in particular is a third of families in the United States have a step or adopted child,
That's right.
So that hit a lot of nerves. And then the rest of it, I either have to have known the story or, myself, I've had to have been through it, or like there's a song on my second record called 215634 that is one of my oldest childhood friends. It's his number in prison.
Wow.
And so talking to him on the phone and stuff, and he said a couple things. Like one time I tried to send him some money, and he was like, "Oh man, are you kidding?" He's like, "I could do this time standing on my head. I don't need no money." He's like, "It's just like the hollers in the streets in here, man. You just gotta hustle and make your way." And I was like, I grew up in the hollers, and then when I moved to Bowling Green and went to college for a little while, I lived over in the little hood area for a little while. So I got a little bit of both of those worlds, and I always seen a lot of similarities. And one similarity that I seen was that you can feel very stuck growing up in those situations. And so that was how I was able to, really connect with the feeling of where he was at. Like I remember what it was like to feel like I was just stuck somewhere. And he's definitely stuck where he's at. So,
Bowling Green is, believe it or not, we mentioned my dad. My dad was presented the key to the city of Bowling Green
that's cool.
a few decades ago because when I was a kid and before I was even born, they had a residency in Bowling Green that they played all the time in his band that they were in. I don't even know if the hotel and the bar that it was in stayed in. I know when I was a teenager, one of my dad's bandmates was still there in the residency. As a matter of fact, the guy that had done the best in music business as a songwriter, with tons of hits, was still doing that on weekends. And we went up there to hear him, and I sat in with him, which was kind of cool. Dad and I sat in on a couple of songs, which was really neat. I think it wasn't the Red Carpet Inn, was it? I don't remember, but seriously, he spent 2 decades probably in Bowling Green on weekends.
I was there from 2008 to 2012. It started out as a very exciting time in my life, very bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and
yeah,
I had just So I graduated high school, I think in 2006. It's been a long time ago now. I graduated high school in 2006. I spent a couple years as an evangelist. I grew up in a missionary Baptist church, and I preached for a couple years. And then
That's cool.
yeah, it was definitely an interesting time in my life. I however, arrived at this place within it that I wasn't sure that I truly believed everything that I was preaching as much as I had just been taught that my whole life, and I'd never really experienced life for myself to know if that's exactly what I believe. And it's still something that I think about a lot these days and struggle with from time to time. But after that, I left that. I walked away from that and didn't really know what I was doing in my life. And it ended up leading me to Bowling Green. I was like, I'm just going to go to college. I'm going to be the first kid in my family to go to a 4-year college. And so I did my ACTs and did well, got financial aid and all this stuff. And I go, and it's like, I had to go to South Campus though, because I was a problem child, I guess. And it's like you had to get a certain GPA and for a couple semesters to be able to go be on the Hill. And I was just so excited to go be on the Hill. And so I got a 4.0. I was on the dean's list. I won like these writing awards, these writing competitions for poetry and short story stuff. And I still couldn't get on the Hill. And then my natural inclination, my natural inclination at that time, and sometimes still in my life, is just like, all right, well, hell with it, and something I'm definitely still working on. And that's when it went from being bright-eyed and bushy-tailed to, it got pretty dark there for a while. So so that's when it started. That's when I started like really partying a lot, experimenting with a lot of drugs, and things just took I'm one extreme or the other, man. I was just preaching 2 years ago, and now I'm,
You go all in.
Yeah.
You commit.
Yeah, exactly. So
You
now
commit.
I'm committed to this lifestyle, and I'm also playing music and stuff. And it's like, I thank God for these two guys that are still my closest friends, Seth and Chad. And like, we really made it through that 2 or 3 years together. And like, if I don't believe if those guys had been in my life, that I really would have made it through those couple years. But I don't even know how I got here. But yeah, I ended up meeting my wife there, and things straightened back out. And then, long story short, things got better, and I ended up here.
That's right.
I wouldn't have been on the Hitstreak podcast at that time in my life, for sure.
But dude, we've all been there, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy how much can change and happen in 5 years. Like, my entire life changed in 5 years. My entire financial landscape, everything about us, 5 years. I mean, it was literally like a 180-degree change.
Yeah, man, I was 27 years old. I got out a notebook and I wrote down 5 things. I wrote, in 5 years, I want to move to Nashville. I want to get a publishing deal. I want to get a song cut by another artist. I want to get a record deal, and I want to get a number one. And that was in 2016, or it was the end of 2015. And then in 2021, I checked off the last thing on that list, and it was the number one with my boy. So I've got a friend, Jan Beckemeyer, and she always says that there's way more power in writing things down than we give it credit for. And I never went back and dug that out and actually checked those things off. I just wrote that one day, and I knew that was like burned in my brain. And again, though, I was very bright-eyed and bushy-tailed when I got here, and so it's been a struggle the last few years to kind of come up with that new list,
Yeah.
It's like I've kind of done. You get to a point where you maybe have done everything I feel like in a lot of ways I've done just about everything I ever really dreamt of doing, and then it's like, well, what do you do now? Because I go all in on things, right? So it's like, I don't know what to go all in on just yet. I think that's important times in life too. Is just like the struggle of figuring out where to go next makes where you go next worth it. So,
Hi, folks. I'm your man, Nick Hyder, and I just want to say a quick thank you for all of you, the millions of you tuning into the Hitstreak. If you have not already, subscribe to the Hitstreak on all digital platforms. Share your favorite episodes with your friends, your team, literally whoever needs a lift. We've built a worldwide audience of millions, and we're just getting started. Every episode, we're breaking down the playbook of top performers so that you can get to that next level too. We're literally getting the information from the people that have it to the people that need it by bringing on guests that everybody knows and some that not everybody knows yet. So again, thank you for being a part of this movement. Keep listening, keep sharing, and keep leveling up with the Hitstreak. Well, let's unpack that a little bit.
There's a lot to unpack.
There is, man. So first of all, one thing that I would say about all good songwriters, especially in this town, all right, you guys have a knack for saying things in a way that resonate with people in a different way. You have a knack of saying things in a profound way that most people wouldn't describe it or say it, right? You've said probably 2 or 3 of them since we've been sitting here right now. I mean, we've talked about Bobby Pinson before, just have a conversation with that guy. He's going to be he's going to make you think 30 times about God, look at how he said that was such a unique and cool way. I'll always remember it.
Days.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, in the world of social media and politics, they call those sound bites.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, guys, you're sitting on so much reposting and sharing gold by just dropping hooks, dropping song ideas, getting feedbacks from folks. Like when you like your song, My Boy, has so many one-liners in there that it's like, it makes goosebumps. It makes the hair stand up on the back of your neck when you hear it. I'm like, man, who's going to be the first songwriter that really takes advantage of that?
Yeah, no, the social aspect of things is definitely something that's changed drastically in the last 5 years. And it's like me and you might be sitting out talking, and I'll just say some crazy stuff that I've been hearing my whole life. You know, like one-liners that the old farmer taught me when I was shoveling beans in the silo. But it's like the moment. I think it's hard sometimes to just I feel like as a whole, artists these days feel so pressured to have such a existence on social media that when you sit down and try to do those things for social media, it's just like blank, you know? And I know I'm not the only one who struggles with it because you see people talking about it all the time. I just seen Drayton Farley is an artist that I've got a lot of respect for. I believe he's out of Alabama, and he just made a post the other day talking about, basically how I feel. I didn't get into this to necessarily be a promo guy or a videographer or a skit writer or anything. I just want to write songs and share those songs. But also it's amazing that we have such an opportunity to be able to share what we do through sound bites and video clips that you never know when Tuesday could be your day. Yeah. It's like you continue to post stuff and then it never works. And then one day all of a sudden somebody texts you, is like, dude, your video last night has got like 4 million views. And I'm like, what happened? Yes. So the payoff can be, tremendous. It's just like continuing to muscle through the days and the time put in and everything that doesn't pay off. I told you I got that song called Road to Heaven that I just did with Demon Jones. And that's basically what that's about. It's like Road to Heaven feels like, hell sometimes. And it's anything really good that you get out of life is usually it's hard to get there.
That's right.
What's it? Straight is the way and narrow is the path. I'm paraphrasing terribly right now for an ex-preacher, but Road to Heaven is supposed to be a little tough, I guess.
It sure is. That's what makes it worth it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
If it was easy, nobody would appreciate it.
Right? Yeah.
We'd all take it for granted. That's right. Well, again, I guess what I'm saying is there's a through you guys' stories and your words and your melodies, you help people through the toughest times in their lives.
We hope to. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. There is a little bit of I love seeing how broad the spectrum is right now within music, country music, whatever. There's a lot of people fussing and fighting about it right now. It's like, this ain't country, that ain't country. And there's a lot of stuff that I'm like, yeah, that's not country, but there's a lot of stuff that seems to just be background noise these days. And I feel like people are just dealing with so much. Like life's not life's better right now than it's ever been. But if you're in the middle of it, it doesn't necessarily seem that way. And, I feel like there's two sides of the coin where there's people that are writing music that's just like, come here and forget about what's going on in life, have some drinks, party, have a good time, just throw it all away. And then there's people that are writing like, hey, these are the things that are going on in life. Sit and listen and really dive into them and think about them. And I try to hit both worlds unintentionally. It's just like, again, I'm just chasing a feeling, but one's like the drug and one's the anti-drug, and I feel like the drug definitely wins more often than not. But
facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Well, let me ask you this. My wife and I were having a conversation literally at dinner last night. And we were talking about when somebody who is somebody, let's just say, walks into a room. If you don't know who they are, you know they're somebody versus everybody else that walks into a room, right? You have that star factor feel to you. Like when you walk in a room, Jensen, he walks in a room, everybody, like, you're like, I may not know who that guy is, but that dude's somebody.
He dresses funny.
It's different. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's intentional.
Yeah, I feel like, there's to do what you do. I feel the same way when you walk in the room. There has to be a certain level of charisma. And
ooh, that's a good one. Charisma. That's
yeah. I mean, but also you got to be really careful, man. Like, it's like how much are you putting out there to make sure that you keep up the look and the smile and the charisma that you're giving it to so many people every day and not saving enough for yourself or your wife or your kids.
That's right.
So that's the balancing act of doing what you do, doing what I do, when you're in front of people for a living.
Yeah.
Can be a real struggle, and I know you work a lot with like entrepreneurs and stuff too. So it's like the balancing act of being that guy that's at the forefront of this company. I mean, basically that's what I am. I'm the CEO of Elvie Shane.
That's right. Everything.
It's like, so whether you're selling energy drinks, running a podcast, or singing on a stage, you have to put a lot of, like, damn, man, I'm sorry. I don't know if we cuss on this podcast.
You can do whatever you want.
But it's like, damn, man, like, I want to give you guys 100%, but I just need 3 hours in the green room by myself today because, this, that, or whatever is going on. But sometimes you just don't have that option. Sometimes you don't want to get out and make the phone calls and answer the emails in the morning because something's going on with the wife or, or your dad or something, and I don't know, man. It's tough. It's like, and those things definitely outweigh the emails and stuff too. But it's like finding that balance to get it all done.
Yeah, it's all about prioritization, And I was one of my favorite things that I like to remind myself a lot is don't get so hung up, trying to provide the best life for my family that I forget to give them the best day.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, damn.
That's something. Yeah, there you go. That's right. Well, it's it's just one of those things where it's everybody's looking for work-life balance, and I don't know if it truly exists. At the end of the day, my buddy Brad says it really. He says it extremely well. He says, "Man, like those," and it goes back to that movie Groundhog Day. That was that Groundhog Day at by the time he's at the end of the movie. Living the same, he knew everything that was going to happen.
Yeah.
He knew where the money was if he wanted to go get it. He knew everything. He knew everything about everybody, and he was in hell by the end of the movie. Like, man, I just want a new day.
Yeah, dude, the hamster wheel is a real thing. As I was telling my guitar player the other day, because we're in a rebuild phase right now. We had success in 2021. I don't like to pretend like I'm on top of the mountain when I'm not, because I feel like the valleys are just as important. But
yes,
I told my guitar player, I was like, man, I feel like I'm just in a hamster wheel. He's like, dude, are you crazy? He's like, we just were in Yerington, Nevada. We had this great show, and we're going to Omaha tomorrow. We went to Italy this year. I was like, yeah, it's like different places, but it's like it's always the same thing. Like, get in your car, drive here, sit around for hours, do this, do that. And I'm not trying to fuss, but it's like there are things that can change that hamster wheel. And it's like if you get stuck in that hamster wheel, then I think that's a telltale sign of like, hey, I'm not doing something right. You know?
Yeah.
The hamster wheel is not going anywhere.
Yeah, Brad's always saying like, get out of the rat race. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Get out of the rat race. He and what he was saying with the story that I love is he said, you know, he was asking this young man in his 20s. He said, how old are you? And the kid was like 26. He was like, will you know more at 36 than you do at 26? The kid was like, yeah. He said, will you know more at 46 than you do at 36? Yeah. 56 more than 46? Yeah. He goes, so at the end of the day, the ultimate gift, you know, we say it a lot, which is waking up is the ultimate gift because the alternative is nothing.
Yeah.
You know, so a new day is the ultimate gift. However, what you do at that time is what really makes a new day. Because if you do what you did yesterday, it's not a new day.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, as you get older, like, why does time start to speed up? Well, because we all get jobs where we do the same thing every day. We have the same routine. So it becomes monotonous. And then that's why we remember the vacations and the holidays, because that was different. So Brad always says, he's like, you want the ultimate gift? Do something today that you have never done before. That's a new day. Mm-hmm. He's like, at the end of the day, how many new days do you actually have in the rest of your life? But they're intentional. You know what I mean? So it's not that rat race, that hamster wheel. It's the same thing every time. Like, you know, do something, experience something new that you've never experienced before. That's a new day. That's the only way you can actually grow, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's something about routine that doesn't need to be forsaken here too. But it's like make part of your routine doing something different every day. You know,
it's intentional. Are you ready to take your brand digital? At HitLab Creative, we don't just make content. We build your digital foundation from the ground up. So whether you're launching a podcast, creating scroll-stopping social media content, or building a website that actually converts, we connect all the dots. Podcast production, CRM systems, content strategy, data analytics, branding, it's all under one roof. Because in today's world, content without strategy, it's just noise. And you're here to make an impact. So if you're ready to launch smarter, grow faster, and create with a purpose, it's time to team up with the HitLab. Visit hitlabstudio.com/studio-time and let's build something that lasts. Because the HitLab is where digital strategy meets data-driven content creation.
Yeah, man. I mean, I liked what you said about 36, 46. Matthew McConaughey, when he was asked who his hero was at that time, he said, me 10 years from now.
Yeah.
I always thought that was pretty cool.
That's right.
No, man. Like I said, as long as you're in there, I'm at this point. I'm an open book, brother. I'm trying to figure out when in the hell and where I'm going to jump out. Mm-hmm. And right now, I was talking to my guitar player the other day. The other Dave. He is the other Dave. I have 4 Daves in my band.
What?
But the other day.
No.
Yeah. Well, the 2 of them go by Dave, and then the other 2 are, it's just like their middle name.
What do you call them? Like Dave 1 and Dave 2?
Well, I call one is called Dirty, because he's Dirty Dave, and that's because he's dirty on guitar. Just real cool. But he hates that because it never sounds good when you just call him Dirty. But then we got another one, Dave. I call him Papaw because he reminds me of my Papaw. He just like an asteroid could be headed toward the Earth, and he would just like, "Hey boys, dang, more if that's gonna hurt," you know. But anyways, these guys they're so solid, and they've been so loyal to me, and it's like also when you're in a position of like you're the guy supposed to keep things going, you get not only do you have the pressure of like building a better life for your wife and kids, but it's like, hey man, I want to build a better life for these people who are helping me build a better life.
That's it.
Well, so, and one of the hardest things for a lot of folks, maybe not for some folks, but for a lot of folks, is to actually like have confidence, believe in themselves, right? Mm-hmm. So like, I can tell you that for a long time, I used to watch my pastor on stage in the, at church in the pulpit. I used to go to concerts. I would, as a guy that played at like, at the like the second to highest level of baseball on earth, like in front of tens of thousands of people, I always felt comfortable in front of people. Like I felt called, like that's something I'm supposed to be doing. But then after baseball ended, I realized, I guess I was waiting on somebody to just put me up there and say, here you go, you're supposed to be here, versus you got to fight your way in and stand up and stand out. And then I didn't realize how everybody that had known you for so long and they knew all the skeletons and stuff, how they would tell you like, when it takes a lot of confidence to get up, look in the mirror and say, I'm somebody, I'm going to go out here and perform and entertain these people. It's hard enough
finding the confidence to do that. And then, like, so when you were like, you had to look the parents of your wife in the face and say, I'm going to take care of this girl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
that's heavy.
it is. And when it's a lot, the safe way is to go waste away in a life and a job you hate to pay some bills. But at the end of the day, as a father of a daughter, you're a father of a daughter, that's probably one of the most secure things you could hear versus don't marry a musician. Don't marry a musician, right? But at the same time, it works for you, right? So I guess that was a long roundabout way of saying, like, how do you find, it's so hard to not listen to the people that you care about because they want to protect you. And a lot of times they may be protecting you from what God put you here to do, or your greatness or your uniqueness. You know what I'm saying? I heard Brooke Thomas said one time, she defines the word impact as when you take your God-given uniqueness and apply it to the marketplace. And I was like,
figuring out how to transpose that is, I don't know why, but sometimes can be very difficult.
You got to get everybody on board, and it's hard because they can't see what you see in your mind.
I'm also very blessed, I think, to have family and friends that I don't have anyone that's really out there telling me, hey, man, they know where we're at. And I'm still able to go out and make enough money to pay the bills right now. But it's like, that's the hamster wheel.
But that's
right?
Incredible in your industry,
it's
by
great.
the way.
Yeah. But, and I'm not trying to downsize that, but also it can be the hamster wheel, So like my dad, sometimes he's got the best hillbilly wisdom in the world. But we were on our way home from Wisconsin, and I was just like telling him, I was like, man, I just don't know if I can keep doing this right now. He said, well, son, it's pretty simple. If you stop now, you just end up where you are, And I was like, dang, that's kind of very simply profound, So, and I say that to just say, like, him, my buddy Brandon, Matt, like my wife, everybody just says you just got to keep going, and burnout can be a real thing, so you keep going, but also it's that balance we were talking about earlier of like, I'm looking, I've got a few shows left between now and September 6th. And I've got 3 weeks where I can kind of just like unpack, and so when you have those moments in life where you've got, a few days or a few weeks or a vacation, like I think there's different work to be done there. You can't just like lay around and drink margaritas all day.
Healing is intentional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every time we go on vacation, it's about day 3 or 4 before I get there, even though I've been there 3 or 4 days. My mind and my heart ain't there yet. It takes 3 or 4 days to get there. And then it's usually not long after that's time to go back.
You get a day or two and then you're like, oh no, we're back. I hate to, I don't want to come across negative. I'm so blessed to be able to do what I do, but also, man, you dream of this and then you get it, and then you have a daughter and you're home 40 days the first year of her life.
Oh, wow.
And that'll kind of change your perspective on, dang, I thought I wanted this, but man, I had no idea that I was going to want those days so much more. I turned down, I remember one time I had this goal of reaching a certain amount of money for a show offer. And I got that show offer one time in my career, but I had the weekend home. And I remember getting a phone call about the show, and they knew that I was, trying to hit that goal. And I was like, what day is it? And they told me, and I was like, dang, man, I just can't do that. Mm-hmm. What do you mean? I just can't do that. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. It's make plans, life happens. You visualize what things. I think it's really important not to build this image of what success looks like in your head to every square inch of the room. It's like, make sure that you said something about prioritizing correctly earlier. It's like, make sure that, sit down with that piece of paper like I did before I came to Nashville, and be like, my advice, and it may be terrible advice, is like, don't ever put the business or the money first on the list of what is supposed to be important to you.
There it is.
First, first, and I'm terrible at this one, but first, I believe, just because of what I believe and where I come from, first needs to be God.
Mm-hmm.
Second needs to be who you're doing life with, and who chose you and who you chose to spend your life with. Next needs to be if you've created life with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that needs to be your business and all of that to support and be in line with those first few things.
Are you ready to transform your business and unlock new revenue streams? At Processing First, we empower our partners with cutting-edge payment solutions and unparalleled support. We're more than just a one-size-fits-all payment processor. We're relationship-driven. By leveraging our extensive network of banking partners, we match you with the ideal bank to ensure that you receive the most competitive rates and deliver an exceptional experience for both you and your customers. Join a network that values transparency, efficiency, and growth. With our state-of-the-art POS systems and competitive processing rates, you can offer your clients the best in payment technology while boosting your own profitability. Why choose Processing First? Innovative solutions. Stay ahead with our advanced payment processing tools. Dedicated support. Our team is here to assist you every step of the way. Lucrative opportunities. Enhance your income by providing top-tier services to your clients. Don't settle for less. Partner with Processing First and take your business to the next level. Visit processingfirst.com to learn more and join our growing community of successful partners. That's the hardest part, is just sometimes is keeping those priorities straight.
Yeah, man. I feel like if you put that one first, and then by His will, the other things come in line the way they're supposed to.
Yeah.
If those are there and you're really putting it there and putting the effort there, then He's going to give you the strength and the stamina and the help to take care of these things. I love being able to do this because it allows me to think out loud and also see where I'm falling short, and when I'm able to have conversation, so it's like I'm sitting here telling you this, but I'm like, hey man, I haven't been doing that.
Yeah, I no doubt. This platform for me is like it heals me every time we do one. You know,
Dude,
what I
Jordan
mean?
Peterson talks about, like, I got to see him speak one time, and I know a lot of people have different.
He's great, right? I've seen him too. Yeah,
He's brilliant. Obviously, whether you agree with him on this or that or not, I can listen to someone talk and not have to agree with everything they say. The world's so weird about that today. But he talks about, when he's doing these seminars and stuff, it's like he's just thinking out loud, and he comes to so many conclusions by just doing that. And I wish that conversation could be open enough, without fear of offending people and stuff, that we could do that more often.
absolutely.
I think it's kind of, it's kind of been turning around for the last few years. Like we had a little stint there where everything offended everybody, and obviously people were getting tired of that, but whatever.
Mm-hmm. When you're talking about putting your family first, we figured out, like, it's not necessarily choosing family versus your dreams. What we figured out at my house is just like my wife and myself are helping my son and daughter figure out and chase their dreams. Well, they can all be involved in mine too. So, like, last year I did it once, and I probably won't do it again for anytime soon. But I was gone basically most of August, September, October, and November on a out speaking out of town. And I remember I missed a lot during that time at home, but I didn't, because I remember when we were talking about doing this, it's not Dad's leaving us. It became, hey, Dad, you got to go do. They were there with me. They were experiencing it with me. We were all together, even though we weren't physically together. So it became, when you dream together, it makes it a lot easier to do both. That's where that balance comes in, is just get everybody involved.
Yeah, I like that too. And I'm kind of a traditionalist in the sense of what a man's job is and role is in the family. And
Preach.
Yeah, right. So I think, historically men are supposed to, you're at times supposed to be gone for a while and do work. And I mean, you go back to hunter gatherers,
That's it.
I wasn't around them, but I would imagine that the women were taking care and raising the community and teaching the kids what they needed to know to be able to go out, the male children, what they need to know to be able to go out when they get older and do what they need to do and what berries to pick or whatever, but. And
wait a minute, you mean there wasn't a 5 o'clock alarm that they could hit every afternoon when they were out hunting?
It was time to get up and go when the sun was up and you could see. You know what I mean?
And the animals didn't come right to their tent so they could hunt on their own camp. Yeah. They had to go out and disappear for 2 or 3 days at a time hunting. Maybe
nice analogies for some success right here. But I also come from I've lived in a few small towns in my life, and where there's not a whole lot of opportunity there unless you're kind of bred into it, for lack of a better term. So I've had to be the guy that's been out on the road working. I've, doing pipe work or road construction or, mobile home warranty work. And generally it's men out doing that kind of work. And I'm not saying, ladies, that you need to be in the kitchen or anything. That's not my point here. It's just I think that, it's just part of a man's job to be gone sometimes. But as long as you're, like you said, able to dream together and set expectations and know, this time I was supposed to be gone from home for 11 sleeps. That's how I communicate with my daughter how long I'll be gone.
Yeah.
And then now I've got to go back to Kentucky again tomorrow. So I'll surprise her. But
well, think about it. There's parents out there working that their kids playing high school baseball and the game's at 2:30 in the afternoon. Mom and dad don't get off till 6.
Exactly.
You're telling me that the parents ain't a part of the kid's dream and wanting to know how they did. And even though they couldn't be there, they weren't there with them. That's what I'm saying. Your family can do the same thing for you as the man of the household.
Yeah, absolutely. And also I think that brings up another point of how important it is to build a community around, have friends, brothers, sisters, parents, grandparents that are involved, to be able to share those moments with you. And, in that song, it says, I ain't missed a ball game yet. And I missed a lot of ball games after that song did what it did, but also we have FaceTime now. So that's cool.
Technology's helping, baby.
It definitely does. I still get to see my daughter say, I'm strong, I'm smart, I'm beautiful before she says it, good night every night. So
that's right.
That's really cool.
That's right. Well, I got to give a big shout out to Justin Lowry and all of our friends at Smiles for Recovery for putting this connection together. Yeah. Man, I'm really excited for how I'm seeing that organization and the mission is unbelievable.
Yeah. I love what they're doing. I'm passionate about that myself. I was the guy, coming out. I talked earlier a little bit about my history with drugs. I just don't think I was ever the kind of guy that really had the addiction demon. I partied a lot, and sometimes I did it for months, sometimes I did it for days, whatever. But it wasn't until I started seeing some of my friends drop like flies around me that I was like, oh man, I thought we were just having fun.
It's dangerous.
Some of these guys were playing with fire, and also that made me struggle with accepting that addiction was a disease, because I was like, well, I just, it's been hard for me at times to quit. I've done a lot of hard drugs, but it was hard for me to quit at times if I'd been on a bender. But it was just also, I was like, well, A, I don't have the money for it anymore.
Yeah.
And B, I'm tired of waking up feeling like this, So it was kind of, I guess, easier for me to quit. But it definitely took a toll on my teeth through a few years of kind of my whatever form of addiction I was dealing with. And so I was a guy that would cover my mouth when I laughed and when I smiled.
Did that too, yep.
Yeah, I hated it, man. And so when I came to Nashville, I went to Dr. Gluck's over in Green Hills, and they helped me get my teeth fixed, get my teeth straight. And I remember not long after I had like this new smile, I'm at the gym one day, and this guy just keeps staring at me in the mirror. Yeah. And I'm just like, what's this fool's problem? You know? And he just keeps looking at me like intently. And finally I'm just like, I put my weights down and I go back there. I was like, hey man, do you know me, or is there an issue or something? he said, man, I wanted to come up and tell you, but I was just trying to find the courage to do so. He said, a couple weeks ago, I was in here working out, and I put my weights down, and I just grabbed my stuff, and I went in the locker room, and I was putting all my stuff in my bag. And he said, I decided that I was going to go home and take my life that day.
Wow.
And I was like, damn. And he said, you grabbed your stuff out of your locker, you walked by, and you smiled at me, and you told me to have a good day. And I thought, man, somebody actually cared enough to just say have a good day and smile at me today. And so I was like, dang, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so because of that, I was like, man, a smile can't, like people say it's so cliche, a smile can change a life, right? But I knew that day that like a smile can literally change a life. And then I had a friend that came into my life who's doing some big things right now. I'm so proud of him. But when he came to work with me, I would notice him covering his mouth when he smiled or holding his top lip down when he laughed. And so I talked to him one day. I was like, hey, man, like, is there something going on with your teeth? And I could tell immediately it was, it hit him. And I was like, well, we got to fix that. So we got his teeth in better shape, and it's like it does. It literally changes your entire life. So when I found out about Smiles for Recovery, I was like, this is something I'm already passionate about.
Yep.
And I know, you get those teeth fixed, man, and you can go into a job interview more confidently. You can walk down the street more confidently. You can go on a date, and it can literally just make someone's life exponentially better. So
absolutely
love what Justin and Daniel Brummett is one of the dentists associated with Smiles for Recovery.
They're growing like crazy, man.
His kid and my kid play baseball together, and it's like good people, great reputation over where I'm from, and so I love what those guys are doing.
Well, they're I know I'm really excited for some things they got in the works. There's you and a bunch of other artists have jumped on board to help do some things, and so I'm really excited to help be a part of the storytelling, the connection, and all that stuff that's coming from there. So thanks to Justin for connecting us.
Absolutely.
And because we're having a good ass time up in here. And at the same time, I'm really excited to see all this come about. I mean, there's some really cool stuff coming down the line to help a lot of people. I mean, I got 2 sisters-in-law right now. They're on the waiting list for Smiles for Recovery, literally right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it literally hits home. So
I think they've done $2 million worth of work already, and they've only been around a few years.
Dude, that was just in one weekend.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's quadruple that probably by now that they're doing, and nobody even knows about it.
Because what's it cost if you go in there and you just need it? You need a full grill.
Golly, if they're doing so like what I have is that there's different types of veneers. I didn't understand that. So I have a top and bottom veneers. I think it was 12 or 16 teeth total. And it's literally face changing, like literally like everything from the way you bite food to the way you smile, the way your bones hit, like everything, it changed the structures, everything. But then there's people that have nothing, like my real teeth are still under there.
Yeah.
There's people that don't have those, that they're drilling into the bone and their implants full blown.
Yeah. They snap in.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So there's multiple, a top can range anywhere from $8 to $9 grand all the way up to probably 40 or 50, depending on the amount of work that you got to do.
So you could be over $100 grand and having a new smile.
It's happened. I mean, that's probably not the most common case, but it
70,
definitely
80
could happen.
all day.
Oh, absolutely. For sure. It could, 'cause the amount of time, effort. I mean, just like, for even just with mine, you think about what happens. The first thing they got to do is they can't make the teeth until they have gotten the whatever's left inside to a state where they can create the molds and do all that stuff with. So like they had to go in and basically have the worst part of the surgery, which is grinding my teeth down to let's call them nubs. Well, then I can't walk around, kind of.
Yeah.
And I can't just walk around with those for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks while now they can go to work building your actual teeth that they're going to be putting on. So what happens in that gap right there? Well, they got to put temporaries on.
Oh, wow. So there's another expense.
There's another expense. And, like I was in temporaries, I think 3.5, 4 weeks on my bottoms. I was in temporaries for about 2 weeks on the tops, based on when some things were available. But even on the tops, the temporaries are very fragile. So like I went back like 4 times to get them basically redid in the process, just because I had to have teeth. I couldn't, I mean, it looked I looked just like those addicts when the meth or whatever else has just totally worn their teeth down to nothing.
Yeah.
That's what I looked like for a minute. And like, so, but I can tell you, like, when you just see the before and after, like even today, I've had mine for a little while now. Every day, it's like the first day when you smile and look in the mirror.
Yeah.
And like, I've always taken pretty good care of my teeth, but now, like, I put it this way, even like as a guy, like, your self-worth, like it's almost 100%. It's extremely high rate of people that once they get a new smile, they do not relapse.
Yeah.
Right.
I would imagine. Yeah.
You think about the time, the effort, the pain they went through, plus everything that everybody put into them, all these people.
Yeah. You don't want to disappoint everybody that helps you.
Yeah, man. So like, I could even imagine having dark thoughts myself one day. Like, well, man, all these people just put all this time and resources into me, into my mouth. I got to go out and do something with it. Like, it's almost like a way to pay it forward.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
So I could go on a rant for 30 minutes about the change that it made in my life, and I wasn't even in that bad a shape. You know what I mean? However, you can go back and look. Most of my smiles were closed mouth.
Yeah.
I didn't want to show them. And even like as we're sitting here watching today, if you look at old episodes, the microphone was up here all the time. You know, he was covering it up the whole time.
I still do it to this day. Like, because for so many years it was ingrained to me not to show those too much, you know, and I still catch myself these days, like just being like,
that's it. You know? That's it. Well, dude, it's crazy. So again, thank you for all the stuff that you're going to be doing with us at Smiles for Recovery. It's a really cool thing. Like, there's just between you and Struggle Jennings and all the other ones that they got coming along, it's just a really cool pack of dudes, and we're really just performers and people, male and female alike, that are like, it's like, man, like, what a lineup, dude. It's
I know
almost
Struggle
like a record
cares
label.
about those people a lot. And Struggle's also involved in Send Musicians to Prison, which is an organization that I really love too. So Struggle's, you know, those are his people, and he's doing everything he can to try to help them.
Hey, pardon this quick interruption, but it's a good one. You're listening to this ad right now, which means someone else could be listening to your ad in this exact spot. That's right. If you've got a business, a brand, a product, a podcast, or even just a message you want people to hear, you should be advertising right here on the Hitstreak. This is the moment, the placement, the audience, and you're already hearing how powerful it is. So don't just listen to ads, run one. Go to nickhyder.com/contact-me or click the link in the show notes to get started. Let's put your brand in the spotlight right where it belongs. Elvie, tell me a little bit about I know you've just finished a new record that there's going to be a release date coming out. People keep up to date with that. But you mentioned the Demon Jones Road to Heaven track. You've got a thing going on with Walker Hayes and Colby Calais.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I stopped in one day to write with Walker, and we got to talking about, you know, his past, my past. You know, it wasn't too long ago I had one of those very long stints of I got an Adderall prescription because I was having trouble, you know, keeping up, and that prescription turned into, it just was running my life. I wasn't necessarily abusing my prescription as much as it was just running my life, and so I stepped away from that, and we were talking about that, and he went to the bathroom. He came back to me. He's like, "Man, I want to write a song called Adderall." And I went into my, you know, just my normal, like, writing a sad song about being like dependent on pills, and he's like, "No, man, it's like, yeah, we work Adderall day, we work Adderall night. Add a little America to that dream, and everything will be Adderall, right?"
That's cool.
We're just sadder inside. I think them doctors lied. Life's a girl you're supposed to love until she's gone. Looks like we might be looking at her all wrong. And, you know, so we wrote that chorus that day, and I thought it was over. I was like, man, I was having a rough day writing, and Walker, he's like, "Man, I just want to take this home and mess with it." He's like, "There's something here. There's something going on with my family right now that this is very poignant with, you know." And so he sends me a video of him singing the first verse later on. And then I was like, I can count on one finger the times that somebody's left a room and said they're going to finish something at home, and then sent me a video and actually did it.
That's right.
But then he calls me a couple weeks later. He's like, "Hey, man, like, I know we talked about maybe doing this song together, but I talked to Colby Calais, and I've wanted to do a song with her for forever, and I think this would be perfect for her." And I was like, "Dude, please, that's awesome." You know, so they just put that song out the other day. And I love the message, man. There's a lot of people already. I've seen, not a lot of people, but a few people online. It's like, are you putting down people that are taking ADHD medicine? I was like, no, I've been that guy. I'm not putting it down. The whole thing of the song is just like not getting caught up in the rat race.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's not all about that all the time. You know, it can't be all about.
And
that
even
all
if
the
it
time.
was, who cares?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
get over it.
Yeah, exactly. I do think that, you know, I've been prescribed those kinds of drugs a couple times in my life, and it never goes good for me. So for me personally, I don't think that's the answer. But the song with Demon reached out to me on Instagram, and he was like, hey man, you know, I knew Demon was like a country rap artist. I've never done anything like that. I used to sing hooks on rap songs back in college, so it was fun to do that. But he was like, you know, basically his daughters had turned him on to my stuff a couple years ago, and they were big fans. He's like, you'd make me the coolest dad in the world, you know? And I was like, well, my papa always said, you know, worst they can do is say no, just send it over to me.
That's right.
And I listened to it, and it's like, oh, I've burned some miles, I got more to go. I learned easy street, it ain't paved with gold. So when times get tough, I remind myself the road to hell feels like heaven. Road to heaven feels like hell. You know, so I love the message there. And then Demon killed it on the verses, and it's just throughout that song has got a great message, and
That's awesome.
is inspiring, and kind of just like, I've really been thinking about it this weekend, just like muscling through some stuff that I've had to muscle through with work this weekend. And I'm like, road to heaven feels like hell sometimes, buddy.
It sure
Just
does.
keep on going.
Come on. I love it, man. I love it. Well, Elvie, man, is there my last question, then anything else you'd want to plug? Who inspired you the most? Any favorite artists or anybody like that really stands out?
I would say top two, Steve Earle, and then John Fogerty's solo record from the 90s, Blue Moon Swamp. Steve Earle's Guitar Town, Exito, Copperhead Road, just about anything Steve's done. They always say never meet your heroes, but I've had the opportunity to write with and record a song with Steve, and he's never disappointed me. And
that's awesome.
Just been really good to me over the years. Have not met John Fogerty. Would love to, but
we better hurry up. He's getting up there too.
He's getting up there. But yeah, man, those two in particular. But aside from that, I just grew up loving a lot of Heartland rock, Bruce Springsteen. I still love Bruce Springsteen. Y'all can be mad at him if you want to.
See, I don't let the personal stuff affect my love of the
right.
music,
It's like,
right?
and also it's like the thing with me was like, Born in the USA tends to be the problem, right? But I listened to the song and I'm just like, he ain't lying, you know.
Dude,
it's like that is working class America's story to me, and so I don't care if I agree with or disagree with you on politics. I just like, if it's a good song, it's a good song, and as long as it sounds to me like you're trying to be honest and say something, then I got respect for you. But I mean, John Cougar, same kind of deal, you know. But I listen to that and it sounds like America to me, you know.
And they're all humans, man.
Yeah,
They're
absolutely. And dude, like, thank God there's people that disagree with me, or I would never learn anything.
That's right,
you know?
man.
So,
well, Elvie, like, is there anything as we bring this sucker to a close? Is there anything else that you're excited about that we need to talk about, or any important world issues that you need to touch on, Elvie, over there?
no, man, I think I've told them what I think I've realized what I needed to realize in this conversation today, and said what I feel like I need to say. You know, aside from anything else, we're working on new music. I don't know if I'm going to start putting songs out towards the end of this year or the beginning of next year. I have the luxury of being able to have a little time to think all that out, and I'm going to use it as wisely as possible. So,
man, just do me a favor,
Yep.
because I again, somebody's going to do it. It's just a matter of time. The music industry, especially here in Music City, there's so many amazing people. Like when you go to a number one party or an award show or anything else, you realize how many amazing people there are, from the writers to the publishers to the producers to the session players to the touring players and the artists themselves and everybody in between, and the executives, and And it's just something. There's just Music Row has its own feel. It just has its own feel, and somebody's going to do it, especially from a songwriting perspective. They're just going to, and I understand why you can't hit record and go live on Instagram or Facebook when you're recording, because there's some IP going on in there you need to protect, right? But
yeah, maybe. No, we recorded every single moment of the last record that we cut. I had cameras running the entire time, all day, all night. I've got 2.5 terabytes worth of footage.
You just need an editing team to go through and find the best stuff, and
the stuff that could definitely end my career and get rid of that.
Well, VH1 had a thing years ago called Behind the Music that did real good.
Yeah, man.
And I'm thinking that's somebody's going to do it, and just being able to capture the magic that is behind closed doors, that I've just been fortunate enough to see it and feel it and experience it. It's so hard to describe. I'm trying to describe it to my wife, to my son, who's a musician himself at 16, and it's just it's a magical environment, and there's a way to share it, especially with, again, when you guys are talking through lyrics, you're saying things. I mean, you're saying all the most effective sound bites that are going to change people's perspectives and all the feels, and there's just a wide open. It's wide open for somebody to come in and capture.
That's been something we've been talking about for a long time in my camp, and that's why I had 2 videographers out there all week. We were there for 8 days, and we had 6 GoPros running and audio recorders as well as obviously we're tracking. So that I'd love to hear you say that, because that's something I feel like people haven't really. They get little clips here and there of somebody singing in the studio, but I want you to see what really goes down.
Absolutely, and just and for what it's worth, I know a great team of folks. If you ever have an issue with taking all that content and cutting it for social and posting, I know some people. I know some people. But seriously, we would love to help out if there's an opportunity to do that for real.
That.
It would be a beautiful thing. So finding the right health plan can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Backed by over 12 years of experience and more than 20 national and local awards, Team Hyder is here to help you navigate your options and choose a plan that fits your family's needs and your budget. So whether you're looking for individual coverage, family plans, or even Medicare options, Team Hyder brings expert guidance with heart. Visit teamhyder.com today to schedule your consultation and get the coverage that you deserve. Elvie, folks, I just met him for the first time today in person. We'd spoken on the phone a couple times. I'm excited about this relationship, dude.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Same here.
And I'm looking forward to bringing you back to talk about that EP as you guys starts to unfold and things are coming out, and we'll do a lot of stuff together for Smiles for Recovery. But just do congratulations on everything you've done so far, man. It's Thanks, incredible.
Man. We trying, baby. We're just pushing it up the hill right now.
That's it. Well, folks, big shout out and big thank you to platinum selling country artist and songwriter Elvie Shane. Elvie, thanks for being here, baby.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having real conversation, man. I love it.
Folks, check him out online at elvieshane.com and on Instagram at Elvie Shane Music. Folks, thanks again for tuning in to another episode of The Hit Streak. I'm your man, Nick Hyder. God bless.